everybody, I'm Brittany, and today we're going to be doing a restorative rest day yoga practice. We're only going to be using props that we already have in the house, things that are just around. So I'm using two hardcover books, just find ones that are about the same size. And we are going to be doing some things on the knees, on hands and knees. So if you know that it's difficult to rest on the knees for a long time, I recommend just grabbing any blanket you have in the house to provide some extra support. So to begin today, we're going to come down onto the back, and I'm going to talk as loudly as I can. I know my movements are going to be subtle, but just listen for direction here. The feet are going to be as wide as the mat, hands on the knees, and use the core to lower the body down to the floor. Go ahead and adjust in any way that feels comfortable and allow the knees to knock together. As you exhale, on your next natural exhale, you're going to reach the fingertips towards the feet, pressing the shoulders away from the ears, and then rotate the palms up towards sky. Allow the hands to rest, the shoulders soften away from the ears, and allow your breathing to return back to its natural flow. Close the eyes and draw awareness into the breathing. Notice the quality of breath that you've arrived at your practice with today. Does the chest feel tight? Do we feel open? Do you notice any tension or any shallowness in your natural pattern of breathing? Keeping the eyes closed and the breath flowing naturally through the body, begin to draw your awareness to the feet, the ankles, the calves and knees. Just noticing any pain or tension we've arrived at to our practice with today. And begin to move that awareness up through the rest of the body to the thighs, the hips, the abdomen, the torso, the shoulders and arms, and definitely the hands. And then finally into the neck, the face, the ears, the top of the head. Not drawing any judgments about what we arrived here with today, but simply taking notice about what we've got with us as we move forward. As you feel the body settle into the mat, begin to deepen the breath, allowing each inhale to be a bit longer than the last exhale. And then all together, let's take one really deep breath in, completely filling the chest. Inhale. And exhale, release the breath. Draw the knees into the chest, the hands to the tops of the knees. I'm going to move my little cheat sheet here. Arms extend out to the sides. On your next exhale, release the knees towards the right hand. Take a simple twist. Allow the shoulders to draw away from the ears, making sure we're not shrugging or overcompensating with the shoulders anyway here. And then on your next inhale, bring knees back to center. Exhale, release the knees over to the left. Simple twist on the other side. Same thing in the shoulders, just keeping an awareness of what the upper body wants to do today. And then draw the knees back towards center. Inhale. Hands come to the tops of the knees. And then slowly begin to rock forward using momentum to bring yourself up to seated. So we're going to be in seated for a little bit. So I highly recommend using, if you do have a yoga blocks or if you have books with you, using them to heighten your seat. It'll make it a little bit more comfortable to remain seated. From here, hands find the tops of the knees or the thighs, whatever feels comfortable. And starting with the seat, we're grounding in through the hip bones. We're in an active pose here. The core draws in. And we're making sure that the rib cage isn't floating too far forward, or we're not hunching and allowing the upper body to round. We're in a nice neutral seated position. The shoulders draw up and then down the back, allowing the shoulders to release away from the ears, creating space in the head and neck. And from here, we're going to do a little shrugging inhale, exhale practice with the shoulders. As you inhale, the shoulders shrug towards the ears, engaging the muscles around the neck, and then exhale, press the shoulders down and back, away from the ears, creating space around the neck. Inhale, shoulders shrug. Exhale, shoulders actively release. We're pressing them down towards the floor. Inhale, shoulders shrug towards ears. Exhale, the shoulders release away and actively press towards the floor. Inhale, shoulders shrug. Exhale, shoulders press towards the floor and then release to find neutral. From here, we're going to interlace the fingers in front of the body, and the palms are going to press forward. So that might mean we need to keep the elbows quite a bit bent in order to make this possible. If you can extend the fingers all the way, do so. But if you find that as you extend, the shoulders shrug up and towards the ears, you want to release the elbows and make sure you have some room. As you inhale, draw the fingertips up and overhead as far as you can, which means that if it's comfortable to stop right in front, that's okay. We don't need to be all the way up and over. This should be a nice stretch in the palms. We're really focusing on opening up the hands here and not as much focusing on getting that length and lift in the shoulders and elbows. Take a couple deep breaths, maintaining your core and active seat. And then release the palms forward. Take the knuckles towards the front of the room, and then the palms find the knees. On the next inhale, plant the left hand to the floor, allowing the body to shift over towards the right. As you inhale, we're going to sweep the fingertips towards the sky and then reach the left arm overhead and begin to let the elbow bend, coming into a side stretch. Take deep breaths into the right side that's opening up, and make sure you're supporting the body with that lower hand. As you inhale, you're going to reach the right fingertips towards the sky and allow that action to draw you to seated. The right hand roots towards the floor. The body shifts over. Left fingertips reach towards the opposite end of the room, palm faces towards sky. Sweep the arm up and over, coming into a side bend. Allow the right elbow to bend, opening up through the left side body. Deep breaths into the chest here. On your next inhale, the left fingertips reach towards sky. Allow that action to draw the body up towards seated. Repeating this on the left side. Left hand roots down, the body shifts over to the left. Palm reaches towards sky, the arm sweeps up and over, allow the left elbow to bend. Side stretch. Inhale, fingertips reach up towards sky, finding seated. This time, right arm roots down. Left palm reaches towards sky, sweep the arm up and over, and then begin to bend through the elbow, coming into a side stretch. From here, take your gaze towards the bottom hand and allow the right ear to soften towards the shoulder. As you inhale, fingertips reach towards sky, and then repeating this on the other side. Left palm roots down, body shifts over. Right palm faces towards sky, sweep the arm towards the ear. Elbow bends. This time take the gaze down towards the palm. Rooting to rise means pressing down to come up or reaching the fingertips towards the ceiling. And then the hand returns back to center. From here, palms come to the knees. As you inhale, we're going to lengthen the spine just a little bit, keeping the core engaged, pressing the top of the head towards the ceiling. As you exhale, use the core to take a slight twist towards your right leg. Inhale, bring the body back to center. Exhale, using the core to twist towards the left leg. Inhale, find center. Exhale, allowing the body to twist towards the right leg. So begin to do this on your own natural flow of breath. Inhaling, finding center, and exhaling, finding a twist. I'm going to keep cueing the movement, but feel free to break free from my movement and go at your own pace. As you move through this, pay attention to where the shoulders want to go. Are they creeping up towards the ears? Are we trying to use the upper body to force the twist? Or can we keep the strength and the movement centered around the core? Inhale, finding center. Exhale, twisting. And on your next exhale, find center once again. And this time, inhale, reach the fingertips up towards sky. Get as tall as possible. Top of the head reaches towards ceiling. As you exhale, the right hand presses behind the body. The left hand comes to the right knee and coming to a full seated twist. Keeping an eye on the shoulders, allowing them to release away from the ears. Actively pressing them down towards the floor as we did in our shrug, inhale, exhale practice. Inhale, finding neutral fingers reach towards the sky. Exhale, seated twist, left hand roots behind, right hand rests on the knee. Inhale, fingers reach towards sky. And from here, we're going to take the left elbow at a bend and stack the right on top. So this might be a little bit difficult to find. If you need to keep the arms crossed and elbows unstacked, that's totally fine. And we're just going to take the palms and allow them to rest on the tops of the shoulders. Feeling the hands on the shoulders here, press those shoulders down actively towards the floor as much as it's comfortable. And we're going to lift the elbows just a bit up towards sky, getting a nice stretch in between the shoulder blades, breathing into the opening in the back. You can allow the gaze to soften towards the floor. If you want to deepen the stretch, you can reach the elbows a little bit towards sky, still actively pressing shoulder heads away from the ears. On the next exhale, unwind the arms, reach fingers towards sky, and we'll switch. So right elbow underneath, left elbow stacks, hands come to the tops of the shoulders, pressing those shoulders actively away from the ears, and allowing the elbows to reach up towards sky to deepen the stretch and press forward. Soften the gaze, take a few deep breaths into the back. As you inhale, unwind the hands, reach the fingers towards sky, and exhale, release the hands to the knees. From here, if you have any props underneath the seat, we're going to move them off to the side, and then sweep the knees around, coming to hands and knees. So if you know you need a blanket underneath the knees for comfort, go ahead and grab that now. And from here, we're going to place the hands, shoulder distance apart. The knees are hip width apart. I'm going to move so you can see. As you exhale, round the spine, coming into cat pose. And as you inhale, keeping the core strong, actively press the shoulders away from the ears. The heart reaches forward, coming into cow pose. But the core is strong here, protecting the low back. As you exhale, belly button presses towards sky, round the spine, drawing in the shoulders towards the ears, shrugging like we did earlier. Inhale, shoulders actively press away from the ears, heart reaches forward, cow pose. Exhale, round the spine, drawing the belly towards sky, shrugging the ears the shoulders in towards the ears. Inhale, belly drops to the floor, shoulders actively press away from the ears, open the heart. From here, find a neutral spine, the belly draws in. We're going to do some barrel rolls in the chest. So just moving in a circle that feels comfortable to you. And then switching directions. And then once again, find a neutral spine, and we're just going to sit back on the heels for a moment as I talk you through this next phase. So we're going to be working with the wrists. The wrists and hands can be a really delicate part of the body, and we want to make sure that they're very, very protected. So the first thing we're going to do is place the hands on the floor, fingertips point towards one another. The knees are hips distance apart as they were earlier in our hands and knees pose. And so from here, we're just going to sway gently right to left. Notice that I'm allowing my elbow to bend a little bit to protect the hand, the wrist. You can either make smaller motions or you can play with how the stretch is affected by bending the elbow. Making sure that we're not feeling any numbness or tingling in the hands. Take a few more deep breaths. As you do, make the movements smaller and smaller, bringing the body back to center. And then we're going to sit slowly back onto the heels, releasing the weight from the hands. Take small circles in the wrists, noticing where you feel tension, where you're feeling the stretch in the hands. And then moving forward back onto the hands, we're going to take the palms face out. So there's a great way to alleviate, to still do this pose, but alleviate some of the tension in the hands. You can take your books, especially if you have smaller books, this works great, and rest just the palms on the books, especially if this feels extremely difficult or uncomfortable for getting pinching and things like that in the wrists. I'm going to move mine aside. And then we're going to do the same thing. Knees are hips distance apart, and we begin to sway back and forth, very gently stretching and opening the wrists. As on your next few inhales and exhales, begin to make the movement smaller and smaller, finding neutral. And then moving, shifting your weight back to the heels, slowly lifting the hands off the floor, and then small circles once again. Just noticing where we're feeling any tightness or release in the hands, if we're feeling any pain, and adjusting accordingly. So we're going to move into the deepest version of this. If it's too much, you can take one of the two adjustments that we did earlier. And for this one, I'm going to move so you can see, we're going to take the fingertips facing the body. Again, you can use the books to help lift the wrists off the floor and make this a bit of a, so we're still able to get the stretch in the, I'm using a lot, but that's okay. So we're still able to get the stretch in the wrists and forearms, but without over extending through the hands, which are probably very delicate from all of that tight clenching and rock climbing. So from here, we're going to sway side to side for a few breaths. But you can also begin to make circles. We want to keep the weight and all of the power in the low body and the core. So we're not using the hands to propel us into this motion. We're actually using the knees, the hips, the belly, the core, so that we're not putting all of our weight onto a very delicate joint. And you can go ahead and switch directions with your circles. Again, making sure you're not using the hands as the main point of movement in this, because the wrists are a very, very delicate joint. And then slowly begin to find neutral. Once again, we're going to sink back towards the seat towards the heels, peeling the hands off the floor, and then again doing small circles with the wrists. From here, move one of your books off to the side, take another right underneath the nose, palms frame the book beneath you. And then the right hand is going to press onto the book. The left hand is going to come to the hip. As you inhale, begin to open up the chest towards the side wall into a twist. I like to keep the gaze towards the bottom hand. If you'd like, you can also move the gaze towards ceiling and then towards floor, doing a little nerve flossing here. And then as you exhale, release the hands, hands square around the book. Left palm right underneath the face on top of the book. Right hand to the hip. As you inhale, open up the chest towards the side wall, taking a twist. I like to keep the gaze towards the bottom hand, but if you'd like to move the gaze up and down, very carefully noticing how this feels in the neck. And then exhale, release. Hands square around the book. Sink the heels back or the seat back towards the heels. And from here, we're going to place the palms on the floor, curl the toes under, press the hips back, and come into a downward facing dog pose. Take the feet really, really wide. Notice how the palms feel here on the floor. How do the wrists feel after all that open stretching? Can you press the hands down to get some rise in the upper body? Keeping the palms, keeping the arms really active. Then walk the toes towards one another. Inhale, look forward, step the feet towards the hands. Keeping the knees bent as you inhale, extend the spine, actively press the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, forward fold, take hands to opposite elbows. Few deep breaths, just forward folding. And then release the hands, inhale, keeping knees bent, halfway lift, shoulders actively press away from the ears. Exhale, plant the hands down, and then walk the feet back to a plank position. And press the body back to downward facing dog. Few deep breaths here. And gently release the knees to the floor. The heels cross behind. And we're going to move all the way down onto the back for our last bit of practice today. So core engages, we slowly lower the body down to the floor. The knees draw into the chest. And begin to make small circles with the knees. Massage the back into the floor. Resist the urge to feel productive and go towards what feels really good. And then change directions. Bring the knees back to center. Extend the fingers wide on the floor and release the knees over to the right for a simple twist. Breathing deeply into the belly here. Exhaling deeply as well. Inhale, knees draw towards center. Exhale, release the knees all the way over to the left, completing the twist. Deep breaths into the belly. Exhaling deeply as well. Inhale, draw the knees back to center. And then exhale, release the feet to the floor, either taking feet wide and knocking the knees in or releasing the legs completely. I like to lower my hands down a bit, again, actively pressing the shoulders away from the ears before letting them release. And then once again, allowing the breath to move easily in and out of the body in its own natural flow. Release all of the muscles into the floor, softening, allowing the floor to provide support as we rest here in Shavasana. Slowly begin to deepen the breath. On the next inhale, draw the knees into the chest. And then make your way to a final seated position. Whatever feels comfortable for you. Hands to the heart, shoulders press away from the ears. Thank you so much for joining me in this restorative quarantine rest day practice. I'd love to hear any feedback you have, anything that would help clarify the next one. So please feel free to reach out. And I so appreciate you taking the time to join me in a yoga practice today. Namaste.